We are live with a Bash at the Brew preview. It's Bash at the Brew 22. I'm here with Nelio Cuomo Costa to talk about 8-match lineup. It's a big
8 matches.
Night.
Jesus. Guys, it's lunchtime. It's lunchtime on a Thursday, and that's where I used to always make my weekend plans. When I could make weekend plans, when we didn't have 2 shows every single weekend. So now I want to let everybody know Bash at the Brew 22 is going to be the best Bash at the Brew in a long time. It's incredible. It's stacked. We have an incredible show. That's what I can say about it.
So if you've been before, get there again.
I'm hyped, Ryan.
Yes. I know you're hyped for a show. When you send me a text and like, we need to talk. We need to go
get there early because there's got to be a pre-show because I want it to be tight. I want everything to be tight. We have some big groups. We have a couple parties, birthday parties going on in the audience. So it might actually be crazier than normal, which is incredible because it's normally fucking crazy, man. Okay, I don't want to say the F word that much. That's one. We can keep it PG-13. It is going to be crazy this weekend because you're going to have some birthday parties. You have a bachelorette party. You have a bunch of cool stuff in the crowd. So the crowd might be wilder than the audience or than the show. No, it will never be wilder than the show.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff we need to talk about. Like it feels like a couple weeks of CCW time is like 6 months in normal wrestling time.
Right. Right. Well, let's get going into this because, like we said, there's a lot of matches. Let's start with the former women's champion Kylan King facing off with Kelsey Reagan.
Reagan making her first appearance or her return from a long time, and she is one of the top female wrestlers in Florida. But Kylan King is making her first appearance at Bash of the Brew since losing her title to Marina Tucker at Destiny Awaits. So you're going to have, I think, a very pissed off King. Saturday Night Slam 8 was her first match. Afterwards, she wrestled Ruthie J in an amazing match. She cut an incredible promo that will be up, I think, tomorrow. On the YouTube channel that you can watch, but was incredible. The match was incredible, but she is motivated. She is a completely different Kylan King, than before that triple threat match. So you have Kylan King, who's just been dominant, and then you have Kelsey Reagan, who is making her return, but is excellent. And she is, I guess, keeping in the theme of the Army of Darkness and the Taskmaster.
Right.
She has some dark forces that might help her topple the King. Who knows?
Well, I mean, Kylan King, you can see her everywhere these days. She was just on the New Japan
Made
show.
Her New Japan debut. She's wrestling for the NWA title on the 12th. A week after Bash, she wrestles for the NWA title in New Orleans, and I wouldn't bet against her winning that title. She's wrestled Camille a few times, once here in CCW, and I think she might have her number. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and I love that little credential that Kylan has now because she's like the first woman to wrestle on a New Japan show, like first American woman to wrestle.
Yeah,
on
it's
a New
incredible.
Japan show.
Yeah.
It's a cool little credential that she has now.
Yeah, and there's only one first, right? Like you can only do that one time. So we're all
That's
incredibly well. It goes without saying, like familiarity breeds complacency. I'm not gonna say contempt, complacency, because you have someone like Kylan King who's just here every week and she's here, she's training, she's doing her thing. But then you see her on New Japan, then you see her in AEW, then you'll see her in the NWA and all that type of stuff. And so it's like, oh, she's on New Japan. Of course she's on New Japan. She should be on New Japan. So, but it is a big deal. If she showed up in the WWE, it's well deserved. At this point,
Right.
Breaking down barriers and all that stuff. She has the size and she has it all. So.
Well, and you and I were talking just before the show, and Kylan's no longer the champ. She's the former champ. But one person that's not on this Bash card is the champ.
Yeah, Marina's a big star now.
Yeah.
Mrs. Los Angeles, Do you know how much flights cost from Los Angeles, Ryan? They're pretty freaking expensive.
Yeah.
So, I was not happy. I financially wasn't happy when Marina Tucker, but obviously I have to stay neutral. It was a wonderful match. Marina Tucker, who's a 3-time champion now, is well worth. I mean, she's a wonderful champion. She's a wonderful wrestler, and she's been making a national headlines as well for women of wrestling as Penelope Pink, and
Yep.
she's great. I mean, there's a reason why the Coasties are I'm not gonna influence it, but the Coasties, which is our year end award show, she was woman wrestler of the year last year, Marina Tucker, and I mean, there's an opportunity for feud of the year there. With
Yeah.
Kylie and Marina, I'm not gonna influence because it's gonna be fan voted this year. So you
Okay.
guys at home can choose if it's that or there's Cha Cha and Ariel. There's a lot of opportunities. We're going to see who's nominated. CCW, baby. It's all about the U.
All right. Did you want to announce Marina's title
Marina.
defense?
The flight was purchased. It was incredibly exciting. Marina Tucker, Conquer Kissimmee 6, will wrestle her first title defense, and that will be against Valentina Rossi, the mafiosa. That'll be a great match. So you buy your tickets there and be there. Conquer Kissimmee has like quietly become an A+ show. Like we have huge crowds there, and it's been incredible. Like it's been incredible how the Orlando audience know the storylines, and there were wrestlers who haven't even ever appeared in Conquer Kissimmee, like they're being chanted for in Orlando, which is incredible, which means that they're watching the stuff. They're watching us right now, or they're watching this on replay, or they're watching it on the YouTube, which by the way has been incredible. Did you see the classic throwback episode, The American Dream? Dusty Rhodes.
Right here to ask you about
Dustin Rhodes. Of course I'm going to scoop you, Ryan. Yeah, touch this, man. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes tagging with his son, former CCW champion. He wasn't CCW champion at the time by Summer Heat 2005. Dustin Rhodes, the natural Dustin Rhodes at the time. And one of the first ever professional wrestling appearances for the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He managed his brother and his daddy. And it was incredible. It was on Tuesday. They wrestled one of CCW's founders, Bruno Sassy and Big Tilly, and then the other founder, Dan Ackerman, still my partner now. He's refereeing the match, which
I noticed,
which is incredible. But it's awesome. Go to the YouTube, check that out. Like that's really well received. And on the undercard, Jerry Lynn versus like a rookie, like first year in the business, but I think maybe a year and a half in the business. Antonio Banks, the MVP of he was just good right away. The arm drags like reminiscent of Ricky Steamboat. The body was great. He's over, and that was the thing. That's one of those things that you see is like this night was in Ocoee, which is Jim Beach Convention Center, which is not close to South Florida, where Antonio Banks was over. He was over. There's some classic matches that you're going to see in the next couple of months, and he was by far, like right out the gate, an incredibly popular wrestler because he just had natural charisma and the look and all that type of stuff. It made sense that he was signed signed to developmental almost immediately. But he comes out and the crowd goes nuts for him. And so and then Jerry Lynn is Jerry Lynn, man, the new effing show.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the heritage. Like we're the last territory. We have shows in in January. We're gonna have 8 shows a month in different cities in Florida. But the point is there's heritage there that lasts for a long time. We're one of the longest consistently running independents in the country. So you have to represent. So when you see a guy like a Jackal Stevens or a Cha Cha Charlie, you can look back and see guys like the Jerry Lynn's, Antonio Banks, the Sheik, the Match Drop Today, the Market Crashers, Joe Cabibo, Joey Machete at the time, losing the tag titles at that same show. And that's Joe Cabibo, the Sheik. You see him on MLW television, and he's incredible. So you have a huge legacy. D'Lo Brown is on that show as well. So you have, in 2005 through up until 2009, 2010, you had those super shows. But right now it's 18, 17 years later, 18 years later, and I think we still have super shows and consistent great characters. So when you come
So
in,
was
you
that
start when you train in this ring, the frames, the bare bones are still that same ring that Antonio Banks, he trained in, and the same ring that Dusty Rhodes came, and when he drops that elbow, it's in that same ring. So you have to have that type of respect. So wipe your damn feet, new students.
there you go.
American
So
Dream is
was that the first year of CCW? I guess it would
That
have
was
to be
that
the
was
first
the end of the first year, yeah. So really start off hot. Like, you have Mike Graham. This is, unfortunately, 7 months before he kills himself, or
passed away.
9 months before he
Yeah.
kills himself. Passes away. Son of Eddie Graham. If you saw the Tales from the Territory, which I thought was incredibly done. Kevin Sullivan. There it is. Yeah. Sitting in the car with Kevin Sullivan, I met for the first time the filmmakers from Dark Side of the Ring and Tales from the Territory, the two brothers. I met them 2 days ago with Kevin, and it was awesome because you could tell they love professional wrestling. They love professional wrestling. And, when you look at a guy like Eddie Graham and Mike Graham, to sidetrack, and you look at what like Eddie Graham did, there's some funny stories where he's like, flying an airplane through fireworks, and there's some sad stories, with the suicide and all that type of stuff. But you also see there is like a genuine love from like Bob Roop and Kevin. I hear it in Kevin's voice. There was Kevin, like everybody feared Eddie, I guess. Everybody feared Eddie Graham. They feared his temper, but they simultaneously loved him because he was able to go and make deals and be part of that community. So it's a really sad thing, and it makes sense. It doesn't never make sense. Suicide never makes sense, but when you see Mike Graham, he had a lot of, I'm sure he had a lot of pressure on him. I don't know how anyone would take their life, but you see that type of stuff, and it's tragic, but it's also incredible what they were able to build in the Florida Territory.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about Tales from the Territory too. I know that you had replied at a couple of things and made some posts. It's happening right now. Make sure you come and see. So
because in 10 years, in 11 years, I swear to you, Ryan, there are going to be people who are going to say, I was there when, when this happened, or when this riot happened at Bash of the Brew, or I was there for the first year at Homestead, or I was there for the first Conquer Kissimmee. There are going to be people who are going to say they're going to be there, and they're just going to be relaying stories that they'd heard from the people who were there. So, that's that opportunity, like to kind of, to appeal to the inner hipster in those that are listening. Like, you can be where it's at right now, by just coming here. But, that's if you're driving distance and stuff like that. So don't miss what's going on. Like Saturday has some incredible things going on, but I mean, every bash is incredible. Conquer Kissimmee is special. Homestead is special. And now Breakouts used to be like where we worked out our student stuff, and now it's one of our best shows. And we put 150 people in this building. Don't tell the fire department. I'm just kidding. The fire department is cool. They come, they know. We put 150 people in this building. You can see behind Ryan right now, that building right there. We pack it once a month for an incredible show. And now I have to do another student show for just students because students can't get on Breakout because it's an amazing show. You have to earn your spots. So you can be where it's happening right now, and you can be a part of what's going on, and you can be a part of long-term storytelling. When you watch Tales from the Territory, and I was talking to Kevin, what a great storyline where he's fighting outside and they throw dirt on each other and they go down a mile while people are chasing them. And then he comes back to the building, Blackjack Mulligan comes back to the building, and they're dirty. And those people in the building thought that they wrestled for a week, right? That's incredible, right? You could tell a long-term story here in CCW. You can go like when I look out at the Homestead crowd, you look at Saturday Night Slam 8, which will be dropping on the YouTube through the weekend. I see a lot of bash guys who are watching the continuation of what happened last week. You could be a part of this. Or you can come to just like guys who come just to Conquer Kissimmee because they live in Kissimmee. I love those guys, and then they can watch what happened at Bash, and they can watch the storylines and all that good stuff. So it's happening right now. You don't like the good old days. Like I love like the amount of time I spend with a guy like Gangrel and a guy like Kevin Sullivan and these old school, Gangrel's not even old school. Gangrel's also new school. Like,
Yeah, he's
Gangrel
right
is
now, right?
he's a vampire. No, he really is a vampire. Like he transcends time. Like he will sit there and he understands and can watch a game changer wrestling show or a trying to think of like or all elite wrestling, and he can understand and he can vibe with it. But then he is he's a natural old school wrestler. Like his preference is big guys beating each other up. So he transcends that time. But you talk to these guys, and I've talked to them for years, and it's always like, well, it used to be like this. Well, we used to have big crowds. Well, we used to have real heat at the shows. Well, the fans really used to believe. Well, I implore those guys to come every first Saturday of the month to Hialeah, Florida, because the good old times are happening right now, because that audience does believe whatever they believe it right there and then in the moment. It's not
Right.
it's not over. And if you look at Conquer Kissimmee, it's not over. Like people want it, but it's all about I guess having respect and consistency and a love and a passion that I think is also contagious to the fans. So the good old times are happening now. I'm going to drop a second F-bomb later, but I was going to drop one now. The good old times are happening now. Like you don't have to talk about how it was in 1978. And look, I know that the in Eddie Graham, when he was on that airplane, I'm sure he was looking at 3,000 people. Okay, maybe that's not going to happen. It's not going to be 3,000 people, but you can still have 600 people who really believe. And that's not just happening in Florida. That's happening in if you look at John Thorne at AIW in Ohio. I don't want to PCW Ultra, Joe Cabibo in Southern California, or Future Stars in Las Vegas. It's happening other places too, but if you're in Florida, it's happening right here,
And you're probably within easy driving distance to at least 2 shows per month, regardless of where you are in Florida.
That's true.
Right,
It's incredible. Like the Port St. Lucie fans, they'll come now to Bash, and then Port St. Lucie fans can come to Kissimmee, and vice versa. And I understand, like you can't take the family. Like, oh, I love there's a couple like younger single guys who do come to a bunch of the shows and they get rowdy and stuff like that. And it's almost like that cool thing where it's like, well, they don't have kids, I don't think yet, or they don't have that stuff, so they can just get together and go have like 6 beers and watch wrestling together, and it's actually cool, and they can bring a girlfriend and their intelligence is not insulted and stuff like that. Right. So that's cool too, like when I was younger, and I wish there was something like that. So.
Absolutely. Well, since we talked about him so much already, let's go ahead and talk about his match this weekend. Abad versus Gangrel. You can see Gangrel cut a promo right on the CCW Facebook page. You can see that.
Yes.
We got a whole bunch of comments that came in too. So,
no.
But let's see here. So before we get to the Gangrel match, let's look at some of these comments.
Yes, Joe. You scooped me. That was one of the things. I am doing a season pass again for Breakout. We'll have a price break for those 12 shows, and it will include free tickets to any of the other non-Breakout shows that we do here at the CCW Arena, which will potentially be like you'll be getting 16 shows for the price of for a reduced price of 12. But I'm going to announce we're going to do a Bash at the Brew season pass for the first time, which I think is going to be incredible. I've been fighting Dan. I said, we got to do a Bash pass. We got to do a Bash pass, and we'll do a Kissimmee pass as well. So, Joe Perry's one of those guys. He's always there, Joe. And you always I love it. I love it. There's the Dragon Reborn, Javier. Amazing shows, Javier.
Let's see. There was another one. Can someone sponsor somebody to wrestle in CCW? I know you can sponsor a match. You
can sponsor a match. Yeah, that's a great segue. You can sponsor a match. Can you sponsor someone to wrestle in CCW? That is a great question. So if it's somebody, yes, I guess yes, but it has to be somebody who fits what we're doing and where we're going. It's really important not to shoehorn guys in. But yeah, boss, you got it. And Boss also talked about Abad. If you were at Breakout last month, if you watched him wrestle Cha Cha Charlie at Bash the previous month, if you watched him in Ocala, Abad is a freak. 6'5", 320 pounds. He can move. He can springboard off the top rope. He's a former WWC Universal Champion in Puerto Rico. He was a guy that I targeted as the guy in Puerto Rico, and I think Pedro Portillo's quickly stepping in front of that. Whether I think that's a potential matchup for Abad too. But Abad is the top, I think, one of the best wrestlers in Puerto Rico right now, and it's again, Puerto Rican wrestling has a lot of like legends and older guys, and Abad, who's not an old guy at all, who's still a former WWC champion, comes in here and he outworks everybody. So I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the Vampire has seemingly regressed in age. Like, he has gotten younger over the last year. I've watched him put in the amount of work. I think it's like, when you have kids, little kids, Ryan, do you have kids yet? No,
I don't have kids, but
okay.
Go ahead.
But
I have friends with kids.
I have a 3-year-old, and I feel younger now than I did 3 years ago, because you're looking at this youth and you're realizing like that you have to recapture that like childlike mind. I think Gangrel has recaptured that like in the students. Like, so Dave has these students who come in who are young and malleable, and I think it keeps him young. And he's in there working every week. He's outworking 99.9% of the guys on my roster. So he's regressed in age. So I would expect a banger. That's a match that, like, I didn't even want to say this, but that match is probably going to steal the show. That is one of the matches that I think there's 3 or 4 incredible matches this show. That match will steal the show. Former WWC champion versus Gangrel. Gangrel's pissed off. He was this close to winning the CCW heavyweight championship. He'll get another opportunity. He'll get another opportunity for that CCW championship, but right now he's got to go through Abad. I mean, I'm excited.
Well, people probably know from listening to this, I live in Port St. Lucie. Here's another St. Lucie guy that's going to be on the show this weekend.
The Macho Man, Ozzy Killmeister. Yes. One of the most popular wrestlers right now in CCW. He's done incredible work on his body. Like, I just looked at that match card, and he's a lot lighter, and he looks a lot better than he did when that match card. So kudos to Ozzy Killmeister. We had a little competition that I think he won. I have to check with the Redcon 1 guys because they refused. We had a body competition at CCW. I think just I'm eyeballing it. It looks like Ozzy won, but I have to ask my friends over at Redcon 1 who they. It's up to them who they decided. Then you have Damien, who is a freak athlete. He's a 5-star athlete. He could have been playing in Major League Baseball. He could have been playing. He's sized like a linebacker. He's an incredible athlete. He's in the gym every single day. He's in this ring every single day. I put a post out asking for freaks. I want some freak athletes here at CCW, and he is exactly that. He is a freak athlete. So you have Ozzy, who's going to have 99.999% of the crowd fervently behind him, and then you're going to have Damian Fenrir, who's just a freak and is badass. So that match is going to be incredible. And Ozzy wrestled Alex Chamberlain. I think Damian Fenrir can wrestle Alex Chamberlain tomorrow, and I think that's an incredible match. Depending on depending on who wins the Southeastern title, that might be where I love it. Yeah. We finally have boobs on our show.
I guess I didn't realize that when I put it up there.
It took us long enough, Ryan.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. What is this? Yeah. Insider number 33, and the first time there was breasts on the show, Ryan? Come on.
Exposed ones anyway.
Where's Francine, or where is Dawn Marie? We got to do this. Right. Both of those guys could be future Southeastern champions. Both of those guys can be future heavyweight champions.
Yeah, and if you want to know if you want to get more on Ozzy Killmeister, we just did an interview with him on CCW Insider a couple of weeks ago. So go look for that in the archives.
Incredibly sympathetic. Like, he's an incredibly sympathetic kid. Like, he loves pro wrestling. I hate to call him a kid because it's not like a kid, but He loves wrestling. He loves wrestling so much, and I know why the crowd loves Ozzy. You know,
Yeah,
we all love Ozzy.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
Damien's he's just a freak. Like you look at that guy, and we were talking with Kevin Sullivan. He's one of those guys that could be on the next level today or tomorrow. It's putting some pieces together. Once that's
Sure.
done, it's a no brainer.
All right. Well, you already mentioned Alex Chamberlain with talking about Ozzy and Damien. So he has a big match.
Meadow. And look at this. So Meadow in this picture, guys, I'm going to say this to my wrestlers. You know, if you're not a wrestler right now, just close your ears for like 2 seconds. Is guys, update your pictures. When your body looks better, update your pictures, Ozzy. Update your pictures, Meadow. Like Meadow looks like, have you seen Meadow lately? He's muscle on muscle. Looks like, he's incredible. So the Ozzy and Meadow, you guys both get I don't know, a
You get
demerit.
bad marks for
You get a
for a
demerit.
bad photo.
Yeah, get the match cards. You know who to send them to. Get your updated muscle pictures. No, Meadow is a freak, undefeated, and the first ever Chamberlain Challenge, which happened at Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum (GWA) 2 years ago or 3 years ago. The first ever Chamberlain Challenge was Meadow. And Meadow is undefeated in CCW, undefeated in singles, and is incredible. And so you have the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. I mean, you have Alex Chamberlain, who's crafty. If someone can beat Meadow, it's Alex Chamberlain right now. So I wouldn't bet against Alex Chamberlain. But, I mean, Meadow is on fire, so.
And the bash of the Brew crowd, I feel, has seen Meadow progress. I mean, not that he's, like you said, he hasn't lost, but he's been a kind of a staple of bash at the Brew for since like the 12th or 1 or something like that. So he's been around.
Yeah. Well, what I think about Meadow is, incredibly like humble. He's an incredible he's an incredible guy. Like came from Eastern Europe.
Incredible story that he
Yeah,
told on this.
You had him here on the show. So he's that guy that if you have 6 matches, you get a 7th for him, and he looks like a machine. So he's that guy who never, I could never. Meadow's always on the top of the list. So yeah, so Meadow, Chamberlain. Is Chamberlain going to knock off Meadow? Is Meadow going to roll through Goldberg? Like, remember Raven and Goldberg for that United States title, where Goldberg had to go through every single member of the flock, and he gives the jackhammer to Reese and all that crazy stuff, and they throw Raven back in the ring. Is that what's going to happen? Is Meadow just going to steamroll Chamberlain? Or is Chamberlain going to find a way to beat the Bulgarian Punisher? This is going to be great.
If Chamberlain comes to the ring with a cattle prod to put down Meadow and break the streak, jeez.
Yeah. Kevin Sullivan can hear you. He's over here. You don't want to say that around him.
I know. I read his comments about that.
Kevin's going to be very upset. Don't even mention that,
Oh, I can't remember his
crazy
quote.
Kevin Sullivan's in the main event, and that whole, which is one of my favorite matches, the Goldberg Perry Saturn and then Goldberg Raven, some of the best, amazing matches. And that guy booked it and and put it together and stuff. And he's here, so it's incredible. But don't mention a cattle prod around me, man.
I know. Well,
I loved Goldberg as a kid. Did you like Goldberg?
I liked him then. Most
I still like him.
And I always felt like the streak was ended too soon. I think the people were still behind him, and they were still buying merch and everything like that. I feel like they screwed him.
I don't know if he's. I'm sure he said it on different podcasts, but find somewhere where Kevin Sullivan talks about that somewhere and just watch it, and the passion and like the sorrow in his eyes of what happened, like where the train came off the station is like, it's a good thing to know.
I just wrote an episode of Daily Wrestling News Show, the other show that I do about the history of wrestling. And I wrote about Goldberg's streak, and I quoted Kevin Sullivan like 3 times in that 5-minute episode. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's 20 something years ago, and it's like yesterday to him. It's still very difficult, but it's
Yeah.
also like you have to see things like that as like the train, when the train starts coming off the rails, he told me that's when he has regrets too. There's nothing he could do. He didn't own WCW, but to grab people by the neck and say no, this is not right, and whatever. Like when you really feel the train is leaving the rails or it's going off the rails, you have to stop yourself. So that's not an invitation for anybody to grab me by the collar if things don't go your way. Because I might look feeble, but I have a little bit of fighting experience as well, right?
There you go.
So no, the point is though is that you never want things to you never want to go like full off the rail, if you will.
Yeah. All right, so there's another women's match on the card, and it is Tracy Nix versus
The return.
Yeah, how do you pronounce
the return?
Nicola?
The Colt.
Okay.
Yeah. Lucero.
Nicole Lucero.
Colombian. She's making, well, I guess her CCW debut, but she's been around and it's been around CCW and also GWA from Gangrels Wrestling Alliance, and Tracy Nix is a stunner and is making her bash return. She is one of the most popular women in the women's division, and she doesn't she's only had like 4 or 5 matches with us, so I love that, and I love having Nicole back, and Tiffany, her twin, was in here training yesterday with her a little bit, so we're going to make sure that there's no twin magic on Saturday. Maybe I'm going to need another special guest referee to watch from the outside on this match. But no, this match is going to be great. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for just a great women's match. And here at CCW, it's not just one women's match per show like you see a lot of indie shows. Like we want to feature a real division here. We have one, so let's use it.
Right, and like we said before, you've got 2 women's matches on this card, and you don't even have the women's champion, right? Because she's in California, so they have a roster.
With agents from William Morris who are trying to drain my bank account, Ryan. It's ridiculous. Have you ever had to deal with an agent from William Morris, or that's incredible.
Follow up to our conversation a few seconds ago, we have a comment coming in from Frankie. WCW Goldberg up, WWE Goldberg down.
Frankie, I
kind of agree with him. I feel like WWE should just bring him in and have Goldberg. Goldberg should be put in a position to just run people over. 3-minute matches.
I mean, that's what, I thought for a minute, because you did it. You had Kevin Sullivan had Goldberg and did exactly what the right thing to do. Obviously, what if Paul Heyman had Goldberg? That would have been an incredible thing too. You look at what Paul Heyman did to 911.
Sure.
As a kid, I was afraid of 911. Like showing up and just choke slamming me at the mall and stuff like that. That was an incredible job where it's like, oh my God, 911 is killing people.
You were just looking over your shoulder every time you left the house.
I looked around, waiting for the music, and then take a choke slam on the steps in River Grove, Illinois. River Grave. Where I grew up, there's more dead people than alive people. It's all cemeteries. So it's called River Grove, but we call it River Grave.
Oh. And, that's an interesting place probably to be Halloween time.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I love you too, and we are the real last territory. We're the only last territory. And if anybody, that's trademark too. So if that implies someone else is trying to say their last territory, you can talk. I know some guys at William Morris now. You're going to talk to them. No, but yeah, imagine Goldberg there. Look, the match with Undertaker in Saudi Arabia, like everyone has a bad match once in a while. I mean, there's nothing that says that he won't come back and do it amazing, So just something to think.
Absolutely. All right, I think at this point we're into title match territory, and the crowd's going to probably be pretty insane for the tag team title match.
I am worried. I am worried. If Cha-Cha Charlie and Jackal don't leave with the tag team titles on Saturday, I am worried that unbranded brewing company in Hialeah, Florida, will burn to the ground. Okay, so
So don't buy your bash pass before.
no, buy your bash pass because we will do a show on the ashes. Okay, we will rebuild that brewery using the ticket money. This match. We saw this at the Kumite, and it was incredible. You can watch it right now. And the Jackal and Cha Cha Charlie had it won, and Agony comes in to spoil the day. But it's still an incredible match. Watch it. So this return is going to be great. I was worried. Jackal suffered a concussion in Port St. Lucie. That casket match is happening, by the way. November 18th at Breakout 18. Jackal Stevens and Agony. Hopefully he's not looking past this tag team match Saturday at Agony. But you have Cha Cha Charlie and ERA who don't like each other, who've wrestled a few times. And then you have Johnny Nova and you have Jackal who also wrestled each other, don't like each other. And they're going at it. You also have the Crown. I know that the Crown's representation told me they were pretty upset. They believe they're in line for a CCW Tag Team Championship. So the winner of this match will wrestle the Crown potentially December 3rd or January 7th, or in Port St. Lucie, December 17th. We got options here. So winner of this match will wrestle the Crown. I have to apologize to Leonis and Maximus because they earned it. They Elevated Status was unable to defeat them at Port St. Lucie. It was a disqualification. They earned a rematch. But at the same show, Cha Cha Charlie and Jackal defeated Chico Adams and Agony in a tag match to be named the number one contenders of the tag team titles. So they'll get their day. Winner of this match, I'd be worried about the Crown because the Crown is coming for them.
Yeah, think about that. You win the tag titles or retain the tag titles just to have to face the Crown.
Just to have like one of the most dominant tag teams that we've seen in CCW in a long time, and they're both incredible.
Congratulations! Here's the Crown.
Yeah, exactly. Here's your title now. The Crown is coming. So we're gonna see some. We're gonna see some stuff.
All right.
Go back. Jackal got a concussion in Port St. Lucie. Okay.
Right.
This match was made. I was Thursday of last week. We had the concussion protocol doctor. I was not going to do this. Jackal was not going to step foot in CCW ring until he was fully cleared. And he was wanting to wrestle. We saw concussion issues. We saw a major concussion with Vinicius in the past and stuff that we saw this before. So there's no stepping back in the ring until you're fully cleared. We saw the thing with Tua too. But like the health of a competitor. So Jackal was fully cleared on Thursday of last week. So this match is a go.
Excellent.
What lingering concussion problems? I know Vinicius has lingering concussion problems, lingering concussion problems. So, you never want to, you're never really fully out of the woods with a concussion.
Right.
They can come back,
look at Bryan Danielson. Every once in a while, he misses 2 or 3 months because, he has the history there. So,
well, what it is like, you look down at your phone and you're starting a text message and you completely forget who you're texting. That's a scary thought. Yeah. Or you're like, it's really, but it is what it is. This is the life. This is the life that we've chosen.
Yep. All right. I'm really looking forward to this Cruiserweight Championship match.
I think this match is premature. You have 3 guys. All 3 of these deserve the CCW Cruiserweight Champion. Jay Vidal he's incredible. I mean, this match should main event Bash at the Brew.
Well, there's a lot of cards.
Why are we doing it Saturday when we have This is the main event. This should be the main event for Bash at the Brew. This is ridiculous. Sorry.
We've talked about a few matches. Like I could see that tag title match also being in
Yeah.
the main event spot. Like
Gangrel Pod, a former WWC Universal Champion versus Gangrel, a legend, the Vampire Warrior. That should be main event. But this match,
it's like universal on here. People are looking forward to
everyone's like this. Well, they like, and it's that's why I got to find something, because like this match is going to be incredible. These three guys are awesome. Jay Vidal is awesome. He's come in like he started here in CCW, continued with Gangrel, went out to Las Vegas. You've seen him on Impact. You've seen him on, like, he is next. He is the next guy. He's the next guy. You've seen him on Game Changer. You've seen him. He is the next guy, and he just comes in. Alan was on a tear. His match with Fuego del Sol. Like, Alan is a match machine, best bout machine. Alan is one of the best wrestlers in, like, top 5 wrestlers in Chile, and one of the top wrestlers in the United States. Like. And then they have an amazing match, which is available on YouTube. But then you throw in this groundswell. Like, I was listening to Saturday Night Slam 8, and I wasn't even paying attention. And I hear the fans losing their minds. And I turn, and it's Chris Farrow versus the Dragon Returns Ricky Fisher, and everything Chris Farrow does, the place goes nuts. So you have a guy who is rivaling Cha Cha Charlie in fan response, and you have Alan, who's a top wrestler in the world, and then you have Jay Vidal, who's next up. He's the guy. He should be in. And they're all wrestling for the CCW Cruiserweight title, and it's not even the main event of the show. It's upsetting almost.
Where's do you know the match order? Do you know where it's going to be placed? Is it going to be toward the top end?
Let's say 4th. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Let's say 4th. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to put it first, because Miami, you don't show up until 8:15.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you're Miami, you know. Look, I'm Brazilian. I know Brazilians don't show up on time, but this show show up on time on Saturday. Point being is that won't be earlier. Come at 7:30. Party. There's a bachelorette party. There's 2 big birthday parties. Go party with them. Yeah. It's Miami. Go make friends. Meet people. COVID's over. You can go speak to people again.
3 awesome guys.
It is a main event match. Well, we don't know how can it be a 30-minute match? We don't know. It could end in a minute. We don't know how that is.
That's true. They're fast, but they're fast, all of them.
All of them are. This is awesome, though. I love the Adam Cole with it. Was Adam Cole a concussion as well?
Yes, Adam Cole's out with concussion right now. Yep.
Baddie Girl loves who is he referencing best intro song in CCW right now? Let me see.
That was during the Cha Cha discussion. So either
Cha Cha.
So clarify for us, Baddie Girl.
Yeah. Oh no, Frankie, tell us which is the best intro. But Baddie has a Cha Cha hat. You know how many Cha Cha is gonna agree? Of course, I think one of the best intros in professional wrestling. Yeah. Baddie has a Cha Cha hat. Wear it on Saturday if you're going to be there. That's crazy. We're getting a lot of questions and stuff like that. Yes, it is a main event match. I'm so stoked for Bash Saturday. And it's really hard too, because in planning out a live wrestling, I am bombarded. I do have to submit the episodes to our television partners, and I'm bombarded with notes and stuff. So it's really hard now to pick what episodes go on live. So go on the YouTube and watch the matches that drop, like the single matches and those full shows. There's a playlist of full shows that is increasing every day and stuff like that, because you might like this match, I assume, will be on a main event of a live, this triple threat match, but so can every single one of these matches tonight. And then, when I talk to my television partners, they want more of the vampire. Of course, they want the vampire.
Of course.
So it's like, you have to listen to, I'm sure William Morris is going to start calling me, and they want Marina on every episode,
Yeah.
and I would do it, but how do you put Marina in every episode,
I guess make sure they're in the intro and outro.
They are. Well, no, and there is talk about moving a live wrestling to a 1 hour format, but I just.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like
I'm one guy. I'm here juggling. You see these, like, every time you have me, these liquor bottles just keep getting like lower and lower. We're gonna put a marker here. We're gonna superimpose a marker on this liquor bottle. Anyway, triple threat: Jay Vidal, S2S, Chris Farrow. All three of them have incredible stories. Chris Farrow and Alan have wrestled a million times. They don't like each other. Jay Vidal came in like, who's Jay Vidal? And just knocked off S2S. And here we go. Let's put them all in the ring. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
You see Cole Carter is Sting. Cole Carter returns.
Yes,
Jeff Jarrett and Sting. Cole Carter in the middle of the ring, Sting. I was like, look, it's my boy. What have they done to my boy? He's in the ring dressed as Sting. He will be at Concord
Farmer.
We'll be at Concord Kissimmee in 8 days.
Yeah.
He'll be in Concord Kissimmee in 8 days wrestling Apollo Misery. That match is going to be amazing. And he was trending number 7 on Twitter yesterday.
He was in the ring with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
no, I'm saying it's good. No, of course it's good. What I'm saying is, like, we're not going to have him much longer. What is going on, Ryan?
Well,
when you use the best talent, you have to be ready to lose the best talent, because they're going to be signed and they're going to win NWA titles and they're going to win WOW titles and they're going to get signed by the WWE. And then I need new guys, So open tryouts November 18th at the CCW training facility, Pompano Beach. Gangrel is choosing 2 scholarships. I think we have 11 people entered now, but that's going to ramp up significantly. So I don't want we got to cap it off at like 30 spots, maybe. I might add a day, maybe a Friday or a Sunday if more are needed. And if more spots come in, I will increase the scholarships. So if you're passionate about pro wrestling, look, if you are an ex-football player, if you're an ex-bodybuilder, if you're a pro wrestler, if you've been in a fight before, like if you ever go to a bar and like someone like hits on your girlfriend and you beat them up and then the police came and stuff like that, and you're somebody who can come in and fight, then please, November 18th, come in, open tryout. Don't fight anybody. But like, we're looking for athletes. We're looking for, and yes, referees. I don't think I have a scholarship for a referee on the 18th, but we do have a program for referee. We have a program for, it's like you learn production, but also referee and also like editing and all that type of stuff. So it's like you learn. It's very similar. Like you get in there with Gangrel. Like he's going to teach you how to be a pro wrestler, but you don't go through the full, bumps and practice matches and stuff like that. So Frankie, yes, DJs. I mean, we always need people. Like pro wrestling is like, we need talented people. We have a great DJ. But he's a wrestler. He's going to be in the ring. Eventually he's going to be in the ring. So it's one of those things. We also need, just need people on the ancillary, but for the scholarships, it does stand for champs and winners. No losers. If you come on the 18th, I don't want to see any losers. Okay. I'm just kidding. Gangrel, he's choosing the scholarships. I don't know if it's going to be a woman or a guy or 2 guys or whatever. It's to his discretion. But that being said, sign up at CC Wrestling FL November 18th. It's a Saturday. It's about 2.5 hours. And look, if you ever thought of like being a pro wrestler and you just want to try it out, just come, because you'll get a little bit of an idea of what that workout is, and maybe you'll get it out of your system. So you'll come in, you'll try out, and you'll get it out of your system one time, or you'll come in and you'll love it, or you'll come in and you'll get a scholarship, and then you'll be wrestling on CCW television in 6 months, or when you're ready, or when Gangrel tells you that you're ready. But the thing is when our guys get signed to the WWE or to AEW or to anywhere, and those spots open up, then we are we need you. We need to refill the ranks, you know. And sometimes guys are going to age out, and sometimes guys are going to move up, and that's a great thing for the company. So that was my little plug for November 18th, ccwrestlingfl.com. Sign up. But yes, DM if you're down to help out too, because we always have spots. We always have available spots. Like we have filming. We have a film crew coming in today, doing some cool stuff, and you can also learn incredible production with guys like that. So
I just want to kind of add to that.
TV guys show up too. Like these TV guys show up, and you get to learn how to like talk to these guys, and you see where their thought process is. I've learned an incredible amount of stuff from these guys. Like what do people care about? You know, like if you're watching this, you're probably a huge wrestling fan, and you probably care about something completely different than like what television people look for. And it's really cool. It's interesting, you know. And then I don't want to announce, there's a guy coming Saturday who's been around and who's been a mentor as well. One of the founders of Ring of Honor, Kerry Silkin, who's been around. So you get to be around Kerry Silkin. You get to be around. I mean, that's, you don't get to be around him really, but like you get to like listen to or see, you know, be seen by guys like that who are really cool. And then on top of that, Gangrel, on top of that, Kevin Sullivan, and on top of that, Bill Alfonso, and a rotating cast of people who will get you where you need to be. But it all starts with signing up, sending a DM, showing up, whatever it is.
Good Continue. Lord. Listen to the name. You ever stop and pinch yourself and listen to the names you just mentioned? Kevin Sullivan, Bill Alfonso, Gangrel, Kerry Silkin.
The best wrestling in the world, I think, involves Kevin Sullivan. The best wrestling in the world. You know, and I watch old matches. I was watching Bam Bam Bigelow and Bret Hart, trying to get myself in a mindset again.
King of the Ring or something like that?
No, it was a Coliseum home video. They used the same finish from the King of the Ring. But Bill Alfonso was the referee. And then I'm watching Fonzie in there, and I'm like, that's crazy. And then I'll take a picture, and I'll text Fonzie, and then he'll text me back 1,000 things that were happening that day or that moment, and, you know, what he was saying to Bam Bam, and, you know, and how this guy is good and whatever. And the same thing, like I was watching a lot of Bruiser Brody matches. And Fonzie is just refereeing so many matches. So you get Fonzie there. Then you have Kevin Sullivan, which is like the best stuff in WCW, and then obviously in the Florida territories, and then just
Bruce Owens too. I mean, don't sleep on the fact you have Bruce Owens there too, who was there.
Are you kidding me, Bruce? Yeah, Bruce Owens. Bruce Owens has consistently been the guy here in South Florida. He's been that guy. He's the Fonzie of South Florida, And when you mention Bruce Owens' name, he does not a partier anymore. He doesn't party. But you mentioned, you know, him to some of the old school guys, and their faces light up, and it's time to party. You know, you look at Pat Tanaka, like, Bruce, the party's happening. Let's do this thing. And it's like, man, it's been 30 years or 25 years, but they jump right into it, you know. So, man, I always remember, man, I was one of the things that made me love pro wrestling is like Channel 17 in Chicago at 2:00 in the morning was playing ECW, and I would put a tape, blank tape in to record it to set my VCR. And then I'd watch it the next day with my friend Carl, and we would watch ECW, and that stuff blew my mind. And now Fonzie's sitting next to me, or I'm driving 4 hours with him, or it's just incredible. Or Gangrel, like, you know, I love the Brood. I loved the Brood. I would never. I don't just sit there telling him about it, but I loved the Brood when I was a kid, and now he's here all the time, and now, you know, just laughing and telling, you know, like, just laughing and having a good time. Not even the wrestling part. Just these guys are incredible guys, and they're putting all this together has been really fun.
All right. Well, the final match that we haven't talked
QT Marshall, another guy. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm worried today. QT Marshall too. Like the fact that like QT has told me like he is man. He's given me like incredible insight on things that you know. He's very like he's very nonchalantly wise. Like he's a future Kevin Sullivan type. Like he's a guy like 25 years from now, people are going to be realizing that like he is an incredible mind for pro wrestling, and he's been influencing things for a lot longer than people realize, So the guys like that, having them around has been great. And Lou, go to Lou Spector. Listening to Gangrel do an interview before he came to CCW, and of his dream of having towns like Championship Wrestling from Florida, and his dream of running a territory basically, and then my dream of running a regional promotion throughout the Southeast United States, from Nashville over to Georgia, down to South Florida, maybe New Orleans up to Nashville, let's say. That was my goal. And then Lou Spector, who, he was kind of, he's a funny figure because he's a very divisive figure within wrestling, not just to the fans, but within wrestling too, and then being able to try to match up what Dave wanted. Like I could hear what he wanted and trying to match up with what I want. And then, Lou, and then Lou coming in and driving 4 hours and putting flyers out and, calling people. So it's one of those things where you need these guys, or like a Wes Whittenmeyer in South Florida. Lou is unique. Let's say unique. Wes Whittenmeyer in South Florida. And then, I was watching Tales from the Territory, and they're talking about Eddie Graham, like beating up town guys and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's me beating up Lou Spector, it's me beating up Wes Whittenmeyer and stuff, and like telling them like this is what we're doing, and keeping them in line, which I don't really. Lou, I've had to beat up Lou a couple times, but I've had to grab him a couple times, shake him up a little. But
I love that story of Bob Roop stretching the guy, and then he rolls out and runs toward the door, but Eddie Graham has chained the door shut. And beats the heck out.
That's what wrestling is, man.
That's what happens at the CCW arena. So if you show up for the tryout,
yeah, you come to the tryout November 18th. No, nobody can beat you up anymore.
Don't sound so disappointed.
I'm like first couple times I've slapped around a few times where you're like kind of eyebrows raised, or like you're like holy cow, or you get a little of that fight or flight responses. But I've never seen Gangrel beat up anybody, so like that's a good thing. In the ring, in the ring. I'm going to preface that. I've never seen Gangrel beat up anybody in the ring. A student in the ring. I've seen some things.
Well, that reverse aging that he's doing, I got to imagine he's tapping the.
He'll be younger than me in a year.
Yeah.
All
right. Just because we haven't talked about this yet. And I assume it's your main event for Bash at the Brew, but
could be.
We talked about all these matches that could be. So
if it's not the main event, Ariel's agent is going to have a problem with me. I deal with agents; they're all big star. Ariel's a big star in Chile. It's Kevin Sullivan. If you saw, there's Kevin Sullivan and Ariel had a back and forth that you can see that I was very that piqued my interest a little bit, because Ariel was being a little bit disrespectful to the Taskmaster. Look, Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, he's a little bit older now, but I wouldn't try to run any shenanigans by him. So we saw Ricky and Ariel have an incredible match at Bash at the Brew. Ariel seemingly on purpose knocked the referee and caused a lot of chaos and mayhem in that main event. So Taskmaster was on commentary, and he specifically asked, he said, I would like to be the enforcer. I can get this thing under control. And what am I going to say? I mean, it's Kevin Sullivan. It's I said, of course, you can be that's that, but a reformed Kevin Sullivan, guys. A reformed that guy's a reformed Kevin Sullivan will be there Saturday night, and he'll be keeping control of that main event. And you have Ricky, who's wrestled in the WWE, he's wrestled in All Elite Wrestling, he's wrestled at Major League Wrestling, was undefeated until last month on his return. He has not defeated since his return for over a year and a half. He was defeated for the first time by Ariel Levy in a one-on-one match since his return. So he's upset, and he has been working out like a maniac. And I have to say this, and I think this might be, I don't know if it's arrogance, but Ricky Martinez has announced at the conclusion at 10:30 p.m. on Saturday in Hialeah, Florida, he is having his birthday / championship party in the bar at Unbranded Brewing Company. I don't know if that is being premature. I don't know if he's being cocky, but he is having his birthday party and championship celebration at 10:30 Unbranded Brewing Company, and he's invited hundreds and hundreds of people. So I don't know if it's cocky or if I don't know if it's just confidence or if he has a trick up his sleeve. Ariel disrespecting Kevin Sullivan does not bode well.
No. So that is the whole Bash at the Brew lineup for Bash at the Brew 22. We talked about Bash passes coming soon. But before we even get to the new year, Bash 23 is coming up in December, and you've already put out this King of Florida territory match.
It's the Royal Rumble, guys. I just can't put it on
30-man over the top rope gauntlet. Yeah.
Guess what it is? It's a 30-man every 90 seconds over the top Royal Rumble. Okay.
Did you say every 9 seconds?
90.
90.
Isn't that what they do? At 16.
It changes every year, but 2 minutes is the traditional, and then something
90.
One, so 90 is perfect.
90 is perfect. Every 90 seconds, 30 men over the top rope, battle royal. I don't think it's been done. 30 guys has not been done in Florida. And the winner will be called the King of the Territory, the King of the Florida Territory, and he will get a shot at whoever is the CCW heavyweight champion. I believe at anniversary. It might be at March Bash of the Brew, but they have that title opportunity. You're going to see some returns. You're going to see some surprises. You're going to see a legend or two. We are going to do this thing right. It's going to be incredible.
Awesome. Well, man, that's a lot of people. I mean, we were talking about the people that would be left off the Bash card. I mean, this is going to be enormous.
Yeah, this is going to be huge, and I'm really excited because it's a personal dream of mine. I've always wanted to do an incredible 30-man over the top. That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing to watch. I've seen them all. I wish Pat Patterson was alive so I could I could circumvent and get ideas through back channels, on how to structure, how to have a referee or something. I don't know. So the point is this: it's going to be incredible. Tickets are on sale now, and it's very ambitious. But we do ambitious things. We can tell longer stories. We can be more ambitious because we have so many shows. Because we are as powerful as we are. Because we do what we do. So that's what we're going to do. And if you're a wrestler in Florida and I see the emails. I see the emails over and over and over and over and over. I see all the emails, but it's really, really hard to because we have such an incredible roster. It's really, really hard to give new opportunities. Here's an opportunity. The King of the Florida Territory, 30 men over the top rope. We're going to see some new faces. We're going to see some old faces. There's a couple guys that are retired that I'm on the phone with every single day. Speculate away. To get one more, get one more opportunity to get to the top. I don't even want to say names because I want it to really be a surprise. So you're gonna see some announcements. Some guys are gonna announce their entry and all that good stuff. But there's gonna be a fair amount of fun and surprises.
All right, we covered a lot of territory.
Isn't Royal Rumble fun? Right?
Oh my God! For me, it's one of the most. It's probably the most fun WWE show every year. So yes, it's the. You do like one nice culminating crazy match, and let's set up the new year. Let's give I want Joe Garcia to win the King of the Territory match. I want to see Damian Fenrir win. I want to see those are the guys that I would love to see get their opportunity and catapult them. I don't know. K/. But I would
But then,
imagine they're going to all have to go through the standard names, right? Your guys that'll Cha Cha and those guys will probably be
of
in it,
course,
right? So
well,
yeah,
look, yeah. Well, the idea is also there are some maybe an Impact star, maybe an AEW star. There's some guys that I've been looking to introduce, and I think this is a good way to do it. And you never know. I don't want to overpromise, but I promise some fun stuff, man.
nice.
Yeah, we have the Game of War too in February.
Oh my God, yes. Listen to this. So Game of War, that's going to be in Port St. Lucie. I am on vacation and I am driving home because I'm only in Orlando. I'm driving home, watching that show, and driving back.
That's incredible. Oh, well, now
Not
I
missing
know.
that.
Now I know we have to make it really spectacular. So that's going to be spectacular. And we know Larry Zabisco will be there, who's a Game of War guy. And then we have a couple other guys that I haven't announced yet, but some legends that have reached out and they're going to come down just because the legacy of the War Games. They're gonna find a way to be there just to be a part of it. And there's a potential thing that I'll announce. I wish I could announce it today, but there's going to be a potential thing for the people at home to potentially be able to watch the Game of War or potentially watch the King of the Territory match. Maybe they'll be able to watch it in their homes, But I'd like to sell all those tickets first.
Yeah, of course.
Who knows? I'm not going to announce
All right,
anything.
I have a War Games question for you because all the War Games people that are watching are want to know: is there a roof on the cage?
You know what? That's a great question. I have DNR Fencing, who is doing the stuff for me, and they're going to be like a co-presenter of the War Games because of what an incredible deal that they're making. Maybe I'll force them. I'll force them to put that. I know it's an incredibly difficult task to put a roof on there, and it's also time. We know how long it takes for us to put up one cage, put up a second cage, and then we're talking about stringing. So if it was just the War Games match for the show, I would say 100% we're putting a cage on that thing because I love that. Love when like Lex Luger and throw in J.J. Dillon on the top of the cage or Barry Windham or something like that. And stuff like that is just incredible stuff. But something there's goes for something
top,
too. A guy goes over when maybe a frog splash from the top of the cage, or something like that, or moonsaults. Maybe something gets super crazy at the War Games and jumps a moonsault over the cage, or I don't know what could happen. But the point is, Super Crazy will be back January 7th, actually, and the 13th and the 14th, and maybe in February too. But the point is, maybe I'll say that.
Yeah,
Cage is still in production, so maybe.
Okay. You're good either way, right? Like you said, I went to moonsault. I saw Io Shirai do a moonsault off the top of a cage. I was in person in Chicago, so that was awesome. So either way, you win.
Yeah.
Anything else? Like I said, we've talked about everything from a live, like these retro episode of Alive to we've talked about everything. Anything else you want to cover before we get out of here?
Super Crazy is back in January and maybe into February. We have an incredible new year. We have a new show we'll announce.
New city or just a new
city? No, new city. We have 3 new cities that are ready, and we're going to announce one going into the new year, and then as we get our bearings, we'll unroll the other 2. And no, just have to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to can't believe we're going to have 22 Bash at the Brews. I can't tell you how many people thought I was nuts when I said that that was our flagship show. I'm going to put Dan on the spot too. Dan was like, that's the dumbest idea he's ever heard. We're a Fort Lauderdale company. We're not a Miami company. Why would the Hialeah crowd come watch us? And now 22 months later, this is the flagship. This is incredible. And the crowds continue to grow. I know Last couple of months, it's been really hot in there, and now the weather is much nicer. But the point is the fans still came. Like every seat was full all summer. Like guys standing in the back when it was hot as hell. So that's amazing, and continue and keep growing. And it's like seeing the same names over and over again is incredible. Like Joe Perry and I could list off like 50 guys that are there every single month for me. But it's just been, I'm just in awe like of what we've done and stuff. And I love to prove Dan wrong sometimes too, you know, and he knows he's wrong on this one. But I have to thank Dan. I have to thank everybody. And then like just cool stuff ahead. Be there Saturday, be there, Conquer Kissimmee. Oh my God. November 12th, Nashville is going to be incredible. That card is incredible. Chase Stevens, Luke Sampson, Jackal Stevens, Ariel may or may not be for the title. You have TSF returning against Mario Perdua, who's a beast. He's a killer, man. Love those love those Eastern European guys, 6'1", 240 pounds, built to muscles. Daisy Kill, who's also like, he's one of our, like, he's the type of guy that you see on the show that you can't get away from the fact that he's the most charismatic guy. He should be on television, should be on a bigger show, not a bigger show than us, but like just a big show. He should be on, he should be playing guitar on Raw on Monday. He's better than Elias. But the point is this: Nashville, there's a ton of tickets already sold because you maniacs come to every single show. So thank you. And then Breakout, which is a casket match, Agony and Jackal. The next night you have the Turkey Saturday Night Slam, and then just come to all the shows. Annual passes are going to be on sale. We have some cool stuff for the holidays, like a physical. Like if you buy the Bash annual pass, you get like a physical thing that you can.
Present.
You can gift someone. You gift someone that pass. You put their name on the door every month, but you gift someone the pass. See some CCW DVDs that are going to be on sale. Like I know nobody uses DVDs, but some collectible stuff, some cool stuff. Just watch. I mean, we work so hard. Gangrel works so hard. Dan Ackerman, Jackal, Ariel, like. My girl, my daughter, like they all work so hard. So just my daughter's 3 years old, and she's like there's a DNR fencing. Shout out to DNR fencing, Chad Huckabee, who does the lighting. If you've seen the new lighting at the CCW arena, shout out to BRCW, to Matthew, to Neil Glazer. They have an incredible show on Sunday. Ariel Levy and S2S wrestle Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton Sunday in Boca Raton. Gangrel and Lakai as a tag team. They wrestle Sean Maluda and Shaka, the Island Kings. You have this, like, there's so much awesome wrestling. Like they're a sister company with us. Neil and Matthew are so they're so passionate about wrestling, and so like we're doing like 6 shows next year together. We've done 3 this year, so just stuff like that. Like I have to thank all those guys because they're like, the rent's got to get paid. The tuition of the students, the rent's got to get paid in this incredible facility, and like the marketing and the shows and the time and stuff like that. So I just got to thank all the fans for doing that, and all those guys who just love what they do, and Eric Christopher, who is does the graphics and all that cool stuff. Like just thanks to and Dan, thanks to everybody, because without all of them and without all the fans, like I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk again in December, but thank you, and watch alive and buy the tickets. And I'm sorry if I'm exhausting. I'm sorry if I give too much content. I apologize for too many shows.
Yeah. All right. That said, I think we're out of here.
And thanks to Ryan, CCW Insider. Who do you got next week on Insider?
Referee Adrian Paz.
Thank you, Adrian Paz. Helps promote Bash of the Brew. He's getting married this month, and moving at the same time. What a mensch. Thank you, everybody.
All right. You have been watching CCW Insider, produced by Minutes to Bell Time in association with Coastal Championship